Alright, what's going on YouTube? Xavier back here with another video, UFC 251. Today we're going to talk about Aldo versus Yan. So, one hand we got Jose Aldo, coming off that loss to Conor McGregor. It definitely seemed like it shook him at that time. Some time has passed. He's looked a little better, sure. In his last fight with Marlon, I mean he did look great. He looked great. He kept a good pace. Usually what we see is he dominates guys for like the first couple of rounds, or maybe like the first round, first 2-3 rounds, and then like kind of coast a little bit, or at least you just kind of see him. He starts off high and he starts to take that dive. Yeah, he starts to take that dive. I guess that's fair to say. Um, Obviously, just like the cardio, like he's had problems with the weight cut before, and now he's in the even lower weight class, and somehow he feels even better. And I would probably attribute that to like having to go on more runs to cut that weight has helped his cardio also. Like the weight cut also aids in the cardio. Obviously it has to. How could it not? Like, you have to go on an extra run to lose that weight, to sweat that off. And what do you're killing two birds with one stone here. You're cutting the weight, you're working on your cardio at the same time. And obviously that's worked for him, which seems crazy that this entire time he was struggling to cut weight but still being so dominant of a champion, and then now dropping down to bantamweight, and still looking good, still looking arguably maybe a little better, maybe obviously he's getting older, so he's gonna be slowing down. That's just father time catches up to everybody. But in that fight with Marlon, he looked great, and everyone thought that he won that fight, which is exactly why he's getting this fight with Peter Yan and not Marlon, which has to feel fucking terrible for Marlon. That sucks. But, whatever. Maybe next time. One thing I think, Peter Yan, obviously great fighter. Obviously undefeated in the UFC. Obviously young, up-and-coming killer. Going up against a former champion. And, we've seen this story before. Young guy comes up against the old vet. Young guy just fucking blasts right through, and shows off his skills. Oh shit, gets the upset. But is it really the upset? An older guy who was dominant champion, been through more wars. He's taking on more damage. He's been doing it a little bit longer. But, I don't know, man. I would still give this fight to Aldo. Maybe. I want to say that I would give this fight to Aldo. I want to believe that that he can George GSP this shit. That he can come back, and get that title again. He can come back better, get it again, stay dominant again. I kind of want to believe that it's possible, that you don't just get to the top, get knocked down, and then go up and down a little bit. I want to believe that when you hit the top and you get knocked down, you can fucking will your way back up there. And I kind of hope Aldo can do it. I really do, and I think he can. And that's nothing against Peter Yan. Excellent fighter. One difference here, I guess, is I wouldn't necessarily say Peter Yan has dominated his past opponents. His last fight against Jimmy Rivera, he was definitely winning that fight. But I feel like there were some shots that he caught Jimmy with that should have put Jimmy out. That should have knocked him out. But Peter maybe just didn't have the power to do it, maybe, or maybe it just wasn't the right shot. You know, obviously Jimmy Rivera still nothing to joke about either, but still, you know, maybe, you know, okay, I guess actually that wasn't his last fight. His last fight was against Uriah Faber, again, older guy, former champion, you know, young guy shows up and Uriah gets beaten like right back into retirement. And I'm, you know, like, but who didn't see that coming? Like who, like he was supposed to win that fight. You know, like what? It's hard for me to argue on Peter Yan's side, just because I don't feel like he's beaten anyone that is any real top level guys. And like the top level guys that he has been fighting, like Jimmy Rivera, I can't remember the guy that he fought before him. God damn, I can't remember, but it was another decision win. It wasn't pure dominance, like something that we've seen out of Aldo before. Where if Aldo's back, then that's what we're probably gonna get. We're gonna get some dominance out of him, man. We're most likely, at least I want to say. I guess like this is really more of a hopeful prediction than like an actual prediction. Like this is more of like a hopeful, I want to believe in Aldo kind of prediction than like me saying that like Aldo's gonna fucking get it. He's gonna win. He's gonna get that belt back. What was it? I said this last time. The truth is stranger than fiction. That has nothing to do with this at all. Why did I say that? What am I trying to say? Real life is better than fiction? Whatever. Something like that. Like, if he does this for real, like that again, like you couldn't write a better story, man. Like for him to be able to take that loss, to like he lost that fight against McGregor before he walked into that fucking cage. And you know, that's not a secret. I think everyone knows that. And if he can really pull himself back together and get that fucking championship again, like that's pretty inspirational, I feel. So, you know, because of that, I will probably give this fight to Aldo. Yeah, like I think he does have the tools to do it. I think his cardio is in a better spot than he used to be. I think he can go all 5 rounds. He did. Yeah, the last fight against Marlon was 5 rounds actually, and he won, and he fucking won. He won. The judges didn't see that, but we saw that, and he won, and he kept that fucking pace. Like he's figured it out. He's gotten his cardio at the level that it needs to be, and he's figured out a pace where he can actually go 5 rounds instead of just dominating the first 3 and then like coasting the next 2. So I think I will give this to Aldo. Maybe knockout. Third round maybe. If Peter wins, it will have to be. If I was Peter, I'd fucking take Aldo down. I put him up against. I would Kamaru the shit out of Aldo. I'll get him up against the cage. Aldo. I'll get him up against the cage, and just like don't let him leave there. Like keep him on the cage. Lateral movement. Keep him on the fucking cage. Take him down. Drag him down. Like we've seen him. I think what was it? It was Mark Hominick. In that fight, like he got taken down by Mark, and stayed there for a little while, man. Like he was being able to help. Like Mark eventually Aldo was able to turn it around on him. And then Mark was obviously kind of fucked up. He had a huge hematoma on his head, but like for a while there, like you know, you can definitely see the wear on Aldo. Like he was getting fucking tired in those later rounds, and I think that's exactly what Peter needs to do in this fight. Get him tired. Like his cardio is probably better, but it's probably not as good as Peter's, maybe, because Peter is used to these longer fights, to these decision like fights. Obviously, it didn't happen against Uriah, but the two fights before then, they all went to the judges, and Peter kept that pace the entire time. Like he kept really good pressure the entire time in both those 2 fights. I can't remember the one before Jimmy, but you know, I do remember what happened. I just can't remember his name, but I definitely think he can do it. I definitely think Peter can do it. I definitely think Aldo can do it. But I would definitely put my money on Aldo, just because they're you know, I want to believe in that desire, that spirit that just like comes, that a man has to just pull himself back up to the top, to just by his fucking fingertips just do it. And you know, I want to believe they can do it. So yeah, Aldo versus Yan. I'm gonna give this to Aldo. Call it Aldo's third round knockout. Third round knockout. Third round TKO. We'll see what happens.